Hello and welcome to News Central TV. Here are stories making headlines beyond the continent. We begin the news in Europe, where history has been made at the Vatican as white smoke signaled the election of the first American Pope. 69-year-old Cardinal Robert Prevost has been chosen to lead the Roman Catholic Church. The new Pope, who will be known as Pope Leo XIV, is also the first American pontiff to be elected leader of the Catholic Church. Now, moments ago, he stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to thunderous applause and cheers from thousands gathered below. The traditional announcement, Habemus Papam, confirmed the decision, marking a new chapter for the Church. Born in the United States, Pope Leo XIV now takes on the spiritual leadership of over 1 billion Catholics worldwide. As bells ring out across Rome, all eyes are on the new pontiff's first words and the direction his papacy might take.
Aiutateci anche voi, poi gli uni gli altri, a costruire I ponti, con il dialogo, con l'incontro, unendoci tutti per essere un solo popolo, sempre in pace.
For more on this, I'm joined by our international correspondent, Afua Hagan. Afua, what can you tell us about the new Pope?
Well, yes, the new Pope, Louis XIV, the first American ever to be elected as Pope, 69 years old, so he's relatively young, so to speak, to be elected at this time, younger than Pope Francis was. He is a cardinal who spent much of his time in Latin America. Yes, he is North American, but he also has Latin American citizenship, Peruvian citizenship, because he spent so much time there. He was born in 1955 in Chicago to parents of Ecuadorian and French descent. He was ordained as a priest in 1982. He moved to Peru 3 years later, but he returned regularly in the U.S. to serve as a pastor in his home city. He also worked back in Rome. He was prefect of the dicastery for bishops in Latin America, and he was given the super important task of selecting and supervising bishops, and Pope Francis made him a cardinal less than 2 years ago. Now, he is seen as a figure who can continue Pope Francis's work in reforming the Catholic Church. It's believed he has similar views to Pope Francis on migrants, the poor, and the environment. As an American, he's also fully aware of the divisions within the Catholic Church. His Latin American background is very important, and that serves as continuity after a pope who came from Argentina.
So what more can you tell us about his speech and also his tribute to the late Pope Francis?
Yeah, so he did give a resounding speech there in St. Peter's Square. Long before he even came out, the crowds are chanting Viva el Papa. You know, he talked about uniting the church. He also talked fondly about his predecessor, Pope Francis. He said, "We still hear in our ears the weak but always courageous voice of Pope Francis, who blessed us. United hand in hand with God, let us advance together." He also talked about his role in the Augustine order, and that's when he was 30 years old. He moved to Peru as part of the Augustine mission. And we will hear him speak again on Sunday at St. Peter's Basilica there, and probably he'll set out more of his vision for the Catholic Church going forward.
All right, well, now that we have a new Pope, what happens next?
Well, this evening will be one of celebration, of reflection, absolutely, for Pope Leo XIV. He'll have dinner with the rest of the cardinals, and then it will be about deciding where he's going to stay. Is he going to go to the lush papal palaces, or will he go back to the boarding house, the Casa Santa Maria, where Pope Francis lived, where the rest of the cardinals have been housed during this period of conclave? And then the real business of being Pope begins. You know, yes, he is the head of the Catholic Church, head of a over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, but it's also a global political position also, and that's where the real work will begin.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Afua, for that update. And now we move to a few guests that we have joining us on the news now to speak more on the new Pope. We have Reverend Father Anthony Nzeli, who joins us from the Vatican City in Rome, and also Father Caius Ugu, who is in Turin, Italy. Thank you so much for joining us, Fathers.
Thank you.
All right, now, it is no doubt a joyous day, right? But some cardinals wanted the next Pope to focus on diversity, just like the late Pope Francis, while others wanted unity, that is, a more conservative papacy. Where do you think Pope Leo XIV will tilt towards?
Well, Pope Leo XIV, today he was elected after the fourth ballot. So we expect him to be a pastor after the heart of our Lord Jesus Christ, following in the footsteps of the tradition of the Church.
All right, so let's speak to Father Ugu. If you can hear me, Father Ugu. African Catholics, loudly rejected some steps taken by the late Pope Francis, like blessing homosexual unions, as well as giving Holy Communion to divorcees. Now, Father Ugu, do you see the new Pope aligning or differing from the legacy of his predecessor?
It is also important to note he was just elected today, so nobody can say precisely how his papacy will be like. We know from the choice of name he chose, the Pope he chose, he's also going to be a Pope who is going to walk in line of new things, a Pope who is going to be very pastoral, a Pope who is going to embrace the world, embracing it not exactly the way the world wants it, but trying to bring Jesus to the world. I don't think he's going to be a Pope that will say everything that the world is asking the Church will go. No. He might be a Pope that follows the line of Pope Francis, that is very pastoral, looking for the lost sheep. But I still see that he's still going to be a Pope that is going to keep to the Catholic tradition, that is still going to maintain what is very important to Catholic faith. But the first thing is to identify with the world, accept sinners, and that thing is to say, yes, sin has become the order of the day. Pope Francis never accepted a sin, but he was saying, let us welcome sinners. Welcoming sinner doesn't mean welcoming sin. And I'm still seeing this Pope going in that direction, open to welcome all, but not welcome sin.
Okay, now let's hear from Father Nzeli as well. Where do you see the Pope tilting towards? Do you think he's going to align or differ from the legacy of late Pope Francis?
Well, he is going to be a unique Pope, following the call as Jesus Christ has called him, because each one at the end of his pontificate is going to render an account to our Lord Jesus Christ. So I see him to be a pastor after the heart of our Lord Jesus Christ. He might also follow the footsteps of Pope Francis, that is a Pope that is pastorally minded. He was a missionary in Peru for many, many, many years. In fact, he has got citizenship of Peru. And he is a pastor. He's a pastor who is very, very close to his people. And this has been what Pope Francis has been preaching throughout his pontificate, that the Church should go out to the peripheries, that the Church should go out to the people, that the Church should leave their comfort zone or her comfort zone and go to meet the people. A pastor that is very close to his flock, a pastor that is familiar with the smell of the sheep. And I think that Pope Leo XIV is going to also to follow that footstep, a pastor indeed. This is what we expect him to be close to the people, especially the poor and those who are marginalized, the migrants who have no place to live, that the church should open her doors, wider doors to welcome them, to accommodate them, especially those who are homeless, those who are marginalized, those who have nobody to cater for them. In that way, the church becomes a voice of the voiceless. And so this is what we expect him to do in these years of his pontificate.
All right, Father Ugu, you heard what Father Nzeli said, talked about how he expects the new Pope to be close to the people and to look out for the marginalized people and the poor. And he also talked about how, you know, the new Pope has been a missionary in Peru for years. Now, we know that the new Pope took on the name of Leo because of his focus on the poor and needy in the society as well. So, but beyond, you know, his papal advocacy, what exactly can he do differently to expand the humanitarian work of the church?
Yes,
I'm sorry. This is for Father Ugu.
Yes. First, I must say that this Pope is a Pope with a lot of pastoral experience. He is well experienced pastorally. Academically, he's also very sound theologian and a philosopher. So he's somebody who can say understand our modern world. He also a priest and a bishop that's worked across continents, from America where he was born to Southern America. This has given him a clear picture of what this world is all about. And we will all be looking forward to seeing his pastoral plans. We know he's going to benefit a lot from what Pope Francis has started. But like Father Anzeli was also saying, he's a unique person. He might also approach it in a different way. Today, I was very much interested when he started his word, greeting us like Jesus greeted us after the resurrection. Therefore, starting his papacy with peace. And you know, the word today is word where we are talking of one war, another war is starting. So I'm looking for that he's going to be a pope who is going to make effort towards looking for peace in the political world, peace among Christians, peace among other religions. So I'm seeing him as somebody who is going to also unite, because even in the motto he has chosen, in the motto he said that God is one and we are one in God. So it's going to be a pope who is going to be pastorally interested about uniting all the people of God and trying to bring peace and bring people together and promote a world where we live together, brothers and sisters, even when we don't belong to the same religion. I think this will also be one of his points that he has shown today, starting with this greeting of peace he showed us today.
Okay. All right, well, so sad we actually have to wrap up due to time at the moment. But thank you so much, Father Nzeli and Father Ugu, for joining us and speaking on this.